The volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, known as VUCA world, has definitely made it hard to anticipate the challenges that will be facing businesses in the future. With an unpredictable business landscape, super-informed customers, and super-empowered employees, the tried and tested business strategies are no longer valid for today's business challenges. The future holds challenges that are unprecedentedly different. They are known to be human challenges and so require a human-centric approach to be solved. Sustain Leadership Consultancy is a tailored solutions partner with its gaze turned toward the future. Through our SEEDS model, we focus on creating people-centric strategies that will have a lasting positive impact on the organization. We work with our clients to identify disruptive solutions to their challenges, design unique customer experiences, while creating engaging workplaces for their most valuable resource, their teams. The idea behind our approach is simple. We believe that the best and most successful businesses are both human-centered and long-sighted. After all, a business culture isn't defined by its products or services, but by the people who innovate, imagine, and create for its sake. As a networked organization, we draw upon and integrate talent of recognized leaders in their fields to customize the right team for the right project. Our portfolio of 50-plus consultants have been serving happy customers in the Middle East, Europe, and Africa for more than 15 years, working with major corporations, governmental and financial institutions, NGOs, as well as SMEs. Our promise to our clients: your teams will demonstrate stronger dynamics and will be aligned around a shared vision. Your leaders will elicit entrepreneurial activity and create a culture conducive to innovation. Your organization will achieve its aspirational strategic goals and build lasting capabilities for sustainable transformations. No matter what your industry, size, or vision, we work closely with you to help you sustain your leadership and remain relevant in an ever-changing landscape. Get in touch with us and find out how you can reinvent your business model and transform into a human-centric, sustainable organization.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another webinar from Sustain Leadership webinar series. Today, I am pleased to host and welcome Dr. Sharif Bajo, who is a seasoned HR and talent management professional with decades of experience and expertise across the region, working across the board in the HR and talent pipeline management, development, coaching CEOs at some of the leading institutions as well as government institutions through, like I said, across the Middle East. And today is here to share with us a new framework and a very timely solution for the HR function and for business leaders. And we will be talking today about talent mobility. So welcome, Dr. Sharif. I am really intrigued and excited to know more about the concept of talent mobility. As we all know, everything around us is disrupted and everything is shifting. And obviously, one of the major functions that have been disrupted even before the pandemic outbreak is the HR function. The change in the HR function, the way it has to be managed, and also the way the talent has to be attracted, managed, developed, and retained. Everything around that is shifting. And I would like to know more about this concept of talent mobility. How did it come to life? And how can business leaders, as well as HR leaders and individuals as professionals and as talent themselves, benefit from it and make the best out of it? Please.
Okay. Thank you very much, Hanan. Welcome, everybody. The topic, as you can see, is talent mobility. You all know very well that the most important asset of any organization is its people. Okay. And still, organizations have so many problems identifying the right talent from among the internal ranks of their own people. The 21st century started with some kind of focus on the value and the role of talent in the 21st century organization. And they started rethinking their people strategies, recruitment, promotions, succession, all these things. They started looking at them in a different way. What made organizations rethink talent is the fact that the 21st century is characterized by VUCA, which is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Now, this has forced HR to start thinking about how to develop, attract, and train and retain the talent that will be able to help the organization to cope with in the VUCA world. Sorry. As you can see, there is competition all over the world about talent. Here, there are two kinds of talent mobility. One is internal, one is global. Our focus today is on internal talent mobility. As you can see, the top country is Switzerland, and UAE comes 19th. In 2018, I think it was 17. Don't know, for some reason it's 19. Now, all this suddenly changed, completely changed.
الو ايه الموضوع في
Hello. Hello. Yes. Okay. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Yes, I was muting myself. Yes, I would just, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So of course, with COVID, okay, and everything changed. Everything. Now we cannot go out without masks and sanitizers. Suddenly, almost everybody was asked to start working from home, and the HR found themselves in a very critical situation on how to deal with this new normal, and they started rushing and putting programs and strategies of how to allocate people to new roles, especially while working from home. So talent mobility, which is the movement of employees from one role to another, from one position to another, vertically, okay, or horizontally, it became so important, and they had to find a way to make very quick decisions. They didn't have the luxury of waiting for days or weeks to decide. So they started looking for a way of finding the answers to their questions, finding the right people for the right job, for the right role, and this made the role of internal mobility extremely important. Sorry. So, as I said, the COVID-19 within a few weeks, okay, it changed everything, and it highlighted the importance of internal talent mobility. People who started working from home, they found out that some people can manage, some people cannot manage. So they had to shift roles, functions, tasks, create new teams based on the abilities of their own staff. But the problem is that they could not find an easy way of finding that talent and then allocating them to new roles. They had to go back to the HR system, which, yes, can generate reports, can help make decisions, but very slow and might not have been reliable. So that's why there was a need to find a way to do a search in your system and identify suitable candidates for any role that you have. Because you do have people who are working in different departments that have skills that can be utilized easily in other departments, or with some grooming, with some training. So the focus shifted from recruitment to grooming your talent, building versus buying. Now, you are familiar with this situation that you need a manager in your department, and HR or the management decides to get somebody from outside. Of course, it takes time, it costs money, and when this new candidate is on board, then some of the team start orienting and training the new person. This, of course, takes time, demoralizes the existing staff, and makes those who feel that they should have been promoted to that position probably leave the organization. Any questions, Hanan?
Yes, actually, not a question, but rather of a clarification. So, what I hear from you is that COVID has really catalyzed and accelerated this change in how to deal with talent and the crisis, because it was managing a crisis, and managing a crisis meant that not everybody will be stuck to their role, or this is what I do, or this is what I was hired to do, but rather we needed to tap into new roles and move, probably shift people around. Maybe somebody who was in operations or logistics could be better at, if we needed more people in a certain function, then we had to move the right ones that could fill in probably the client facing, or someone who was into the technical, move them into sales. So that's what the sense of urgency that came from COVID has imposed. However, you're looking at that from really what I understand from what you're explaining to us is really about, now it will no longer be about what you do and what you were hired for, but rather that as things shift, which means the needs and behaviors of our customers and our stakeholders shift, we need to tap into the talent that can immediately adapt to those shifting And rather than going and finding outside, how can we tap into our own talent? Because also the resources will be less and less. And there's a talent war as we are moving into knowledge talent and knowledge economy. There is a talent role. So rather than going and looking for new talent, mobility is a solution that will probably enable the HR leaders to tap into the talent that they have internally and see how they can utilize them with the shifting dynamics in the business landscape. Is that really what it is?
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. See, uh, talented employees are like rough gems.
Mhm.
You need somebody to find that rough gem, polish it, and then they start shining. They don't usually come forward, okay, and tell you I'm talented. Okay, so it's up to the management, okay, the line managers to look around and to find those people with potential,
Yeah.
with potential, and then recommend them for further grooming and development. Now, with with having an internal talent mobility system, okay, you can monitor all your employees without even telling them that I am grooming you to become a manager, and then causing some friction with the others. I'm going to come to that. So this is a quotation from a book called Leaders at All Levels by Ram Charan, who was the mentor and the coach of Jack Welch, the
Okay.
20th century legendary CEO.
Yeah.
He says here, okay, at all levels, organizations are short on the quantity and quality of leaders they need. They all complain, we don't have leaders. We are lacking in leadership. There is no shortage of raw talent. Organizations could fill in the leadership vacuum from their internal ranks if they knew how to spot and develop their real potential leaders. Approximately 10% of your workforce are talented.
Yeah.
And the only was, you need to find them. You need to find this talent. So a system like internal mobility, talent mobility system can make it easy for you to monitor everybody that you have in your organization. And once you find people who are showing, talent and some creativity, then you can monitor them and put them in a talent pool and start grooming them without telling them that we are grooming you for this or for that. Okay.
Right. So that takes me to, so now we have definitely established a strong why for this talent mobility framework. So that takes me to the question, if you can tell us a little bit more, how can we utilize it? As you mentioned, like what is it? Is it a number of steps? Is it a process? Is it a
Yes,
system?
we are coming to it. Yes, it will come after a couple of slides. I will be talking about that. So, having said this, we believe that um, at this time, because what happened during COVID-19, it will continue. It will continue. Okay, so the new normal is here. Okay, it's not only making us use masks and sanitizers. No. There are so many other things that we have to adopt and to use from now on, that a year ago they were not even thought
Yeah.
of. They were not even thought of. So here, the main objective of internal talent mobility is to make the employee aware that there are there are opportunities either at the same level or higher that can meet the employees' behavioral and technical skills. Somebody, wants to be in customer service. He is maybe in a technical role, but he has that passion for customer service. And when you assess this person through personality profiling assessment, you find, yes, this guy is a people's person. He has energy and he is customer oriented. So the number one, any vacancies should be advertised internally. Yes, they are doing it. They are doing it to tick a box.
Yeah.
Many organizations are doing it, but they're not serious about it. But number one, employees should know that there are opportunities. Okay. So that number two, they should know that they have people, HR should know that they do have people who have the competencies for this required position. How? By having a database, which is either the HR management system, or it can be linked to it. It can be easily developed and linked to it. We've been working, on these with many government organizations, and we extract the information from the GRP or Oracle, and then we work on it, and it's linked to Oracle or GRP. Okay, so you remember this kind of chart in the past, even now some people are using it. They put a role, a critical position, and they find 3 replacements. One is ready, one after 1 year, one after 2-3 years, and then it's a confidential one, but 1 week later everybody knows about it and people start complaining. Now, this can be done in a much better way, in more confidentially, and without people fighting over positions. Even those who don't have the right qualifications can be fighting for those positions because of lack of self-awareness or something like that. So what talent mobility does is here. Talent mobility is the highest level of succession planning.
Okay.
So you know that you have critical positions, and you know from your database that you have the right people. Just say you look into your database and you don't have anybody. So some organizations, what they would do, they would slowly recruit somebody with those qualifications and put him somewhere else until the right time comes. When somebody leaves, the organization doesn't panic and work does not get affected. So this is a proactive program. It is not reactive. We don't want to be reactive. It's
Right.
not level 1, it's not level 2, it's not level 3. Level 4, which is transparent talent mobility. So you know that you have the right talent. They are put in a talent pool, and they are groomed along with the others, and you utilize them when the time comes, for either for rotation or for acting or for filling real positions. Okay, so this is how it is. Of course, the benefits. There are so many benefits for adopting this internal talent mobility. when somebody leaves and you start looking for a replacement, it takes up to 3 months to find the right replacement.
Totally, absolutely, yes.
With talent mobility, it could be 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
How is that achieved?
For example, you say, project manager for this kind of thing, and you go to your database, you put some keywords, you search it, and then 4 or 5 names pop up. And then you generate a report about each one, and you see their levels in the competency framework of the organization, the strengths, the development areas, the job matching recommendation that this person matches this kind of role, that kind of role, and whether this person has a management leadership career path or a specialist expert advisor career path. You can do it in no time. And if you have the person ready, it's just paperwork to get approval from his department to move that person to say within 1 week, the person will be identified. Usually when people resign, most of the time they give 1 month or 2 month notice. So you can find your internal candidate, and you can even do some handover with the guy who is leaving. So you see how smooth it's going to be. So this, of course, makes employees more committed to their organization. They know that there is a career path for them. There is progression, and the organization is keen to retain them. Okay, and it's not expensive. It's not expensive at all. It's just you are moving one employee from one place to another, and then you move somebody else from another place to the place of the person that moved. So there's some movement, and people, renew their energy, their passion, they don't get rusted in where they are. Okay.
Right.
So, and then this created trust with their line management, and that these people can always find a position that suits their preferences and their skills, technical, behavioral, etc. Okay.
So with that, I think there is some kind of assessment that happens that gives this profiling.
Of course.
So, okay.
You see, I will get into that in the next slide. Okay. This is the process. This is the whole process.
Okay.
So the process is called the 5 Ps. Mm-hmm. The purpose, clarity. The purpose of internal talent mobility is that, to always have candidates to step in the emerging roles or roles that are becoming vacant, and to contribute to work continuity. So there is no disruption. Okay. The second P is policy guidelines. So there is, of course, there will be like a policy, procedures, how to identify the candidate, and how to move him from his current place to the new place, approvals, paperwork, HR, line managers, this and that. Okay. Yeah. And then, of course, as I said, there will be a process, okay, and there will be people that will be involved in this process. Now, what is extremely important in this framework is the platform capabilities. Mm-hmm. Now we are going to talk about it with some detail. The platform is that it is a database, say an Excel sheet, where you import information from the organization's HR management system, the fields that you want, put it in an Excel sheet, okay, and then say assess the candidates. For example, you want to assess all your managers. Give them a personality profiling assessment against your organization's competency framework. So you have 80 managers. So you do that exercise. And then somebody from HR will analyze the report and feed the data into the Excel sheet, into the database. Okay? Once all the information is there, you can easily generate a one-page report which will have personal information, appraisal, rating, a score for each competency, the approved competency, 5-6 strengths, and 5-6 development areas, and then recommendations whether this person has can follow a leadership career path or an expert career path, and what roles this person is suitable for. Okay,
right.
So this platform is extremely, and this platform can be updated all the time. Somebody takes some more training, somebody comes up with new ideas, somebody becomes more visible. So all these notes will be entered into this platform, and whenever you need a candidate for a certain position, you go and you put your keywords, you search the database, and people who meet that selection criteria will come up, and you will look at them and choose one from those 4 or 5 or 6 people and recommend that he occupies the new position.
Right.
So the requirement for this is a database, and an assessment. Some people have their own assessment centers, internal assessment centers, or external assessment, and then the data is analyzed and put in the entered onto the database on the platform. And the platform, anybody can search and look from which department, from which section, from I want somebody who has extreme positive energy for certain role. So you put positive energy, because positive energy is one of the competencies, say, of your organization. So everybody who has the highest score in positive energy will come up.
So it goes to that level to measuring that kind of competencies, not just okay.
Say for example, you want a team leader, or you want to nominate somebody for the innovation team. So you enter keyword creativity and innovation, because it's a competency.
Right.
And then you will find people who have scored, say, 80 plus, 70 plus, 60 plus, depends on what you decide, and they will come up, and you will read their report, and you will say, oh, this person will be suitable for this position. It's very, very easy. It's very, very practical, and it helps you take the decision quickly, make your decisions quickly. It doesn't cost much.
Yeah.
It can be done in-house. It can be done 100% in-house after somebody sets it up for the HR, and then they can. And whenever, for example, you recruit somebody,
Yeah.
and that somebody, the recruitment panel, they find out that this person has a unique competency. Okay, he is a great negotiator.
Uh-huh.
So they add this person to the database. Okay, so that in the future, if you look for somebody with negotiation skills, okay, you can find him. So anybody, while you're recruiting and selecting, you find that they have really great talent in certain areas, you add them right away to the database.
Right.
And then whenever you search for what you want, okay, all managers will have access to it. It's not only HR. Only HR can modify,
Right.
but read only, anybody can look at it. The chairman of the organization can see, okay, if I want to have a director for that department, he can himself play with it and find some candidates and then start checking about them. Instead of asking HR, can you find me somebody? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay, he can do it himself or herself.
And it's integrated, as you said. So it's not a new system, it's integrated. It doesn't require anything that will breach the security or the privacy or anything. Yeah.
No, because it's part of your system. It's owned by HR, but the whole organization, line managers, of course, there is access level.
Yeah.
Some people, okay, they can look at it and see if they have the right people.
Yeah.
Just spot checks.
Right.
Spot checks say that if this guy leaves tomorrow, okay, a director says, if this guy leaves tomorrow, do I have somebody? So he will not look only in his own department. He will look through the whole organization, and he might find somebody in a completely different role, but he has that skill that he's looking for.
Yeah.
And then when he brings them in, he can help them. Okay, I remember just recently, they wanted an asset management director. Okay, and the organization searched in the database, and they found 2 candidates, but both of them were not up to the mark. But what they did, they took the risk of promoting one of them to director, but brought him a specialist to work closely with him. So within 6 months, this person will fill up the gaps, and then he will be able to manage. Even if you bring somebody from outside to do asset management for your own organization, he will need some time to know about your asset management system.
Totally, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and then, of course, the performance measures of the system, how much the system is useful, what was done with the system, what are the benefits, what's the cost saving, what's the time saving. So all these KPIs can be incorporated into the performance measures, and you will see, is this system worth the investment or not?
Right.
As I said, investment is not that much, but the benefits are limitless. Okay.
Great.
So, any questions?
Well, I will open the floor if anybody has a question. I think it's really an interesting framework that will be needed today, because we're no longer looking at job descriptions and roles and boxing people into these roles, because the business landscape and the behaviors of the customers and the whole industries are shifting is calling for that. No wonder that some big companies have announced that they will stop using titles. And I think one of them is the giant AMR. The chairman, if you remember, a few months ago, he announced that they will let go of titles, which means that goes in line with what you're talking about. It's really about the talent and how, yeah, it's
gonna be
going
flat.
more flat, because today it's about tapping into who can do the job better, rather than, and also about empowering others so that decision making is fast, because when there is a crisis you cannot really waste time into that vertical top down kind of management or kind of hierarchy. So I believe that a solution like this is really, I would say, is invaluable, because it's very, very important and critical today to know when things start being disrupted. You don't tap into If you don't tap into the talent as the asset, as the biggest asset that you have, then it'll be hard. It will take time to go and find people, and also on top of helping the organization tap into the right talent and finding what they have, it will also affect the culture, positive culture. Because if I know as an employee that I'm part of a company that first searches and gives us a chance to even pivot our careers, then the level of loyalty, as you mentioned, and commitment, and that positive culture will be just, I think, a bonus as an outcome of a solution like this. I think it's fantastic, and I would love to know more about how any company can integrate that. And I'm sure that whoever is interested would can reach out to us or to yourself and find out how they can use talent mobility to tap into that biggest asset that they have, so that when difficult times happen, when uncertain times happen, which I think it will continue to happen, they know that they have a wealth of talent right within their organization, and they'll find an easy way of tapping into them and leveraging on that before going outside looking for more expensive talent and paying high recruitment fees.
Yeah, it's not only for recruitment. If you have a project
Right.
and the project is very demanding, challenging, okay, you need to form a team.
Yes, correct.
So
Even
you
for
can
team,
use
yes, to
this.
finding
Yeah.
out what are the right teams and
Yes,
how to manage the team dynamics as well. Absolutely, yes.
you can go to your database and put some criteria for the team members, and then you select people who meet those criteria.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I
that
think
yeah.
this topic was so interesting and so detailed that we lost track of time, but I think it's worth it, and I'm glad that we recorded this session so that everybody can benefit from it. And Dr. Sharif, how you want to close the session? What is your call to everyone who will be listening and watching this video? And if you want to summarize talent mobility in one statement, this framework as a solution to business leaders and to HR leaders, how would you position it to everyone so that we can close with that statement from you?
You see, talent, internal talent mobility can help employees follow their passion, heart, and mind. Not everybody working in one place, one role, is happy there or productive there. You could be unhappy there, unproductive there, but somewhere else you can be very happy and very productive. So put your employee in charge of his career path.
Absolutely. And today it's really about building purpose driven companies and value driven organizations. That's how we strive to achieve as well as sustained leadership. We always say that today is about building value-driven individuals and value-driven organizations, and I think a tool like that can help achieve it. Mobility is the key word of this century, of the 21st century, and as you mentioned, this is for the 21st century organization that wants to really leverage and tap into their talent, and also make sure that the changes that are happening don't disrupt them, that they can remain relevant, that they can sustain their growth and their performance. And obviously, the products change, the services change, but it's the people who create, the people who innovate, the people that you have who can help you continue and becoming relevant with their creativity and with their talent.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
without internal mobility, there is no agility.
There you go. That's another magic word of this century. Yes, you
Now,
cannot.
the buzzword is agility.
Totally.
How can you achieve agility with people who are not in the right place or with the right, I would say, mood, or with the right,
we don't have the
they have to-
possibility to move, because
Yes.
as you said, agility in its own definition requires mobility.
Yes.
So if they can't move around freely, if you don't have a system that allows them to move and that does not box them into one role, then how can you embrace organizational agility? I think that's the right line to close with. No agility without talent mobility.
Yes.
Thank you very much,
You're
Dr.
most
Sharif.
welcome. Yeah.
And it was great having you. And thank you for attending. And the recording will be ready by tomorrow. We'll be sending it to everyone. And definitely we will be hearing a lot more about the talent mobility framework from us in collaboration with Dr. Sharif, because I think it's very interesting to dive deeper into it. So probably we'll have more sessions to talk more about how it can be implemented, how it can be integrated. And I would say have a good evening, everyone, until we meet again in another webinar from Sustained Leadership webinar series. Thank you.